Welcome to Game Guys, I'm your host Bricks, and today we're going to be going over the top 5 tips to improve your assault gameplay in Hell Let Loose. Before we get started, I'd like to give a special shout out to our friends at Team Asylum Gaming. You can check them out at discord.gg/teamasylum. Thank you for stopping in, and remember, if you want to keep up to date with our latest guides, reviews, and how-tos, to hit that like and subscribe button down below, and also let us know in the comments what you want to see next. Now draw your nades, and let's jump right into the top 5 tips in under 5 minutes to improve your assault class gameplay in Hell Let Loose. Tip number 1, know your loadout specialties. As of update 8, the assault role is the only class in the game where you can get 4 different loadouts as you level up the class. This makes the assault player very versatile and a strong asset to have in the squad. However, the assault player has to know when to use each loadout. The first 2 loadouts for assault pretty closely mirror the automatic rifleman loadouts, but the last 2 loadouts, being Grenadier and Raider, are highly specialized for certain types of combat, and oftentimes in games you'll find yourself swapping back and forth between the different loadouts. The Grenadier role is primarily used for closing with the enemy and using smoke concealment and frag grenades to rush an objective. The German loadout gets 3 smokes and 6 frags, and the American loadout gets 4 smokes and 6 frags. That's a total of 9 or 10 grenades that you can use to push on a point. I personally feel that this loadout is not best suited for defense, but it's a huge asset to the team and the squad when you're spawning at an airhead or pushing a point directly from close range. The Raider loadout, however, is a little more balanced in the fact that you get 2 smoke grenades, 1 frag, and a satchel charge. The satchel can be used for anything from clearing out a building, destroying an enemy bunker or tank, or taking out a group of nodes quickly. However, this loadout does not have the best of weapons, and I personally feel that it's best suited for flanking around the enemy and trying to take out garrisons and nodes. Tip number 2 is lead the pack. After all, this role is called Assault for a reason. As mentioned before, you have some pretty good weapons and a diverse arsenal of explosives for whatever kind of job may need to be done. Assault, along with automatic riflemen, are also extremely suited for close quarters battle, and leading from the front and using your available explosives helps the assault role maintain the status as the tip of the spear for pushing enemy points. Tip number 3 is use your frags and satchels. Every time you respawn, these are refreshed, and you can also pick up more on the battlefield with an explosive ammo box. Also, OPs or outposts can be destroyed by frag grenades, and a single satchel can clear an entire building, take out most vehicles, and enemy placeables like bunkers. You would be surprised how often when pushing a point and just tossing random frags, you'll actually take out an enemy outpost or 2. And your satchel can be set for 30, 60, or 120 seconds, and can be used for things such as taking out enemy garrisons, or even putting a 2-minute timer on a point that you just lost, and as you're falling back and the enemy comes on it, it takes the enemy out. In fact, in the current clip, even though I'm downed, the satchel that I'd already placed was able to take out 5 infantry, an enemy supply truck, and an outpost. Tip number 4, effective use of smoke. Remember that smoke is concealment and not cover. Therefore, you can be shot through the smoke. In fact, I hear players all the time like, dang, how'd he get me through the smoke? But think about it for a second. When I'm playing defensively, especially if I'm in an MG role and I see smoke coming from the enemy area, I'm going to start firing through the smoke because that's where the enemy's coming from. So to use your smokes effectively, you want to try to smoke between you and the enemy and not in your direct path of travel. Obviously there are times like when emerging through an alleyway or smoking inside of a building to get a camper, but these are exceptions and not the rule. Also do keep in mind that when emerging from smoke, the enemy can see you a lot more clear when you're coming out of the smoke than you can see them. And the final tip for this guide is suppression. Most of the assault loadouts have a pretty high rate of fire, even if you consider a Gewehr over a Kar 98. So make sure you're sending bullets down range and tossing those frags to keep your enemies' heads down and their tails tucked. Well, that's all for today's top 5 and 5, and consider hitting that like and subscribe if you learned something and want to see more content. And as always, until next time, we'll see you in game.